It's time for the Podketeer podcast.
Good morning, Christopher Robin.
Oh, good morning, Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, well, glad to meet you. Name's Tigger. T-I-double-G-R. That spells Tigger.
Now, isn't this a clever disguise?
It's time for the Podketeer podcast with your hosts, Mark Tanner and Melody Clark.
This could be about anything. And if you're like me, you wait and see. For I've got curiosity.
Hello, everybody. And I mean everybody. The group is getting pretty big. I'll bet you we hit 3,000 before probably the end of next month. I'll bet we hit 3,000. We're getting there. I'll tell you one thing. I have a favor to ask of everyone that listens to the podcast. If you see some kind of post that really shouldn't be on the group, please tell me about it, because I try to go through all the posts, but there are getting to be so many of them, it's getting difficult for me to see everything. So if you see something that shouldn't be there, please send me a message. Don't post something on that's just going to start a fight. So just send me a private message and tell me, or report it to the admin. Don't report it to Facebook. That'll get the whole group in trouble. Just report it to me, and I'll take a look at it, and if I agree with you it shouldn't be there, I'll get rid of it. I've had a few reports come in from trolls where they reported some of you for perfectly innocent posts. There was nothing wrong with it. Somebody said, oh, I like this stuffed animal, and somebody said it was hate speech or something. Yeah. So just a lot of these trolls, they put them out there just trying to stir up problems on the group. And, we don't have any problems in the group. I've had very, very few problems with anybody. Then you haven't seen them. I just took care of them, and you don't need to know about the few little things that we have had happen, because it just it's not Disney-ish. So I hope everybody had a great week. I certainly did. I went to Disneyland Friday and Saturday and met a lot of cool people. Let me show you some pictures. I have tried to take a picture of everybody I met. Please, if I met you and we took a picture, or you took a picture, and I don't show you right here, please send me the picture and tell me who you are so I can add it to the list of people I've met. Because I'm trying to build a list, because my age, my memory for names is not real good. So I have the names written on all these pictures. So here we go. Is Richard Larson, a very nice fellow. We met by the flag retreat on Friday. Now here, I don't have her last name listed. I haven't written on the picture, but I don't have it written here on the screen. But her first name is Lisa. She was just the sweetest thing. Very nice lady. And I was over, you could probably tell by the umbrella, I was in the Plaza Inn. I was escaping the parade. All right, now I think I showed this picture last week, but I'm trying to show all the pictures of people that I have met. Now this one, there's no way for me to enlarge it, but left to right, it's Lena, Aisha, Alicia, and why are you not letting me see the last name? And hang on, I don't want to not post the name on there. Hang on just a second and let me look perplexed for a few seconds on the screen. Oh, there it is. I was looking for my phone so I could look it up on my pictures that I have posted here. And it's Katie Erickson. So it turns out it was sitting on my phone waiting for me. And here we have Jasmine Gonzalez and her wife Alexa, and they are sweet people and were kind enough to buy a couple of my oversized shirts from me. So thank you very much, Jasmine. And they're definitely characters, especially Jasmine. She's a character. So let's see here. Oh, now here's one that I have not met her as of yet, but she is really good at her posts. Lots of information, and she's good to have in the group. She's going to be very helpful to everybody. And her name is Heather, and I'm going to try the last name Heather. If I get it wrong, I apologize. Gutowski. I'm going to guess that she has Polish heritage, or at least her dad did, or her husband, maybe, because that Ski is usually a Polish name. My brother-in-law was Polish. He didn't have a Ski. He was Cernik, which is CZ. But just a guess. And that's her and Goofy. And we were commenting. I made a comment that when I went to the Goofy's breakfast, we were there, and Mary Poppins came and sat with us. And like for a long time, almost a whole meal, she sat in our booth. And she would not get out of character. I could have stuck her with a pin and she would have said, "Ooh, my." She was not changing out of character for nothing. So it was a little weird, to be honest with you. But anyway, Heather has posted a lot of great stuff the last couple of days. So we're glad to have her on board. And here, I apologize. I met Donna Jean and Shelby, her husband, probably one of the first members that I met out at the park, and I could not remember her husband's name for the life of me. And she was nice enough to remind me of his name, and this is them when I met them. And Shelby and I have a very similar background in that we both worked at Northrop and in aerospace, and we lived in Lawndale at the same time. So it's kind of interesting that we lived in the same city. And now here's the last picture I have to show you. And I like her name. Her name is Amberlina Muniz. And she bears a very strong resemblance to a girlfriend of mine when I was young. So when I look at that picture, I say, boy, that looks just like her. But it's not. But she does a very, very striking resemblance to her. So anyway, had a great week. Went 2 days instead of one, which I'm going to try to keep up for a while. I'm going to mix what day I go out there so I can see people that go on different days. Because if you go on Wednesday and I never go on Wednesday, I'm never going to meet you. So I'm going to try to mix it up and get out there. This week I'm going on Tuesday and Saturday. See, I've just got a couple of months here until I have the blackout weeks of Christmas and New Year's, so I'll miss the park for almost 3 weeks. In fact, about 3 weeks. And I'll tell you, I'm hearing some really bad rumors about this, that the whole month of December may be blacked out next year. So we'll see. I'm hoping they don't do that, but that's what I have heard. But I don't really have any big inside information. I just know a couple of people that claim to know something. So, it's just something I heard. But I'm hoping that's not true. Because I would hate to have, no park. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. My dear sister, Melody, is out again. I'll tell you the story. Melody has a really bad hip. And she had her one hip replaced, and she's been trying to get the other one replaced, but Kaiser has been fighting her and refusing to approve the surgery. So she's going around and around and around in circles with Kaiser trying to get this taken care of. And they're denying her medications. I mean, it's just terrible how they're treating her. So you want to write a letter to Kaiser and tell her you think it's scrummy, I wouldn't mind. But I don't know what good it would do, but it's not good. Somebody pays for insurance. I mean, it's not like you're getting this insurance for free. You pay for it. Well, you pay for it, you should get what you pay for. I mean, some of these things are just insane. I don't know if any of you watched the episode where I talked about my hospital stay. The 2nd of May, I was put in the hospital for heart trouble. They were able to pretty much solve my problem. They've got my blood pressure down. My blood sugar is under control. So I'm doing pretty good. And I was in there for 6 days. I got the bill from PIH, which used to be Whittier Presbyterian Hospital over in Whittier. And the bill was $127,000 for 6 days. And they did not do any surgery. It was strictly tests and the hospital stay. And none of the tests were like outrageous. It was like x-rays and things like that. They didn't do anything nutty. And it was just amazing. Now, certainly after the insurance, it was still $7,000. I mean, it's not like it was some little piddly amount of money. It was still a significant sum that I had to pay. But that $127,000, I about hit the floor. They didn't have to worry about my heart anymore after that one. It's enough to. There should be a warning notice on the outside of the envelope. Show this to your relative first before you open it if you have heart trouble. Like I say, that was just scary. I don't know anything in particular special going on with the park. Pretty much the same thing. Oh, in case you didn't see the posts on Facebook, they tore out that yellow fountain that used to be next to Tortilla Joe's. And I know a lot of people weren't real happy about that. There was a lot of people complaining because they did that. So it's gone. Now, I don't know. They're almost looking like they're sculpting it to put in another fountain. So maybe they're going to replace it with a better fountain. Because the lady who works at Splitsville next door said that the fountain had been malfunctioning of late, and that's why they took it out. So, if that's the case, maybe they had to fix it. So maybe they'll put something in even better. Let's hope. Now, I understand where Tortilla Joe's currently sits. They're going to tear down Tortilla Joe's. So it's going away. And then they're going to build 2 restaurants there. They're going to build a steakhouse, which they have needed for a long time since Steakhouse 55 went away, 5, 6, I don't know, a long time ago. Steakhouse 55. That used to be patterned after Walt. They had a lot of Walt Disney stuff in there, which, it's appropriate since he built the place. I don't know if it was there long enough to where Walt ever ate there or not. I'd have to look into that, but I'm not positive. Guy, you'll have to look that up. Guy, I don't have his last name written down here, but he's, it's Larson. Yes, because I wrote it wrong last time. Guy and Gigi Larson. Guy is really good at posting all these historical tidbits. A lot of stuff he finds on YouTube. The guy he found on YouTube was real interesting. He had a thing on audio animatronic things buried at Disneyland, although I don't know if there's much truth to that or not. There's a lot of parts they could pull out of those audio animatronic things. So I don't know if I believe that one. I think that one might be a fairy tale, which is appropriate for Disneyland. Next month is D23. Why the D23 hat? And we're going to do an episode next week on D23. I'll do as much research. They're really secretive about who's going to be there, what you're going to see, and so forth. There's always big stars, especially at the studio event and the Park and Recreations. Those are the two big ones. If you go to D23, those are the two you want to see. You want to see the studio presentation and you want to see Park and Recreations, because they're going to give you all the ooh. And you'll very likely see Bob Iger there and so forth, and lots of celebrities. During the five that I went to, I saw the entire cast of Avengers, even though Robert Downey Jr. Made everybody mad. They all came out on stage. And while they were standing on stage, they showed a preview of I think it was the Loki movie was the one that was coming out. And they showed a preview of it. And after the preview, everybody cheered. And Robert Downey Jr. says, "Hey, wouldn't you guys all like to see that again?" And everybody cheered. So they showed it again. And while they were showing it, Robert Downey Jr. snuck out the side door. Now, that was pretty crummy. That was a pretty rotten thing to do to the fans that all came to see him. I don't know what the deal was. Maybe he had to use the bathroom or something, but I never was real thrilled with him after he did that. Like I said, I saw all sorts of celebrities. Saw Extencio. He's the one that wrote the theme song to the Pirates of the Caribbean, and he's no longer with us. He passed away not too long after the D23 that I went to. He had throat cancer. And Marty Sklar, who's gone, was there. Richard Sherman, who's gone, was at one of them. As I think I said, I got to sing Small World with Richard Sherman. And that was pretty cool. That was more than pretty cool. That's just something to remember, for good. So I don't know how long this podcast is going to be. I'll just warn you ahead of time. When I run out of things to talk about, we'll just call it a day. It's not like network television where I have to fill a half an hour or an hour. I fill the time that I have something to say about. I had a post that I removed, and it was very anti-inclusiveness, let's say. That's about as far as I'm going to take it. And I removed the person from the group, and I got rid of his post before. I don't think anybody saw it. It was only up for 13 minutes before I removed it, and it was early in the morning, so I don't think anybody saw it, and I didn't care for it. So I'm just going to tell anybody that has a similar idea, everybody is welcome to this group. I don't care who you are. I don't care your political affiliations, although I don't want to hear about them on the group, please. You don't hear about mine, I don't want to hear about yours. That's something that's not going to be discussed in the group, because I will take that down immediately. I tried it. You've seen, I only have one rule. How many groups do you know about one rule? I have one rule. Be nice. There's no reason anybody needs to be disrespectful to somebody else. And I'm not going to put up with it. Just don't do that, and you'll be fine. And please, anybody that wants to be in this group, join up. Be part of the gang. We have lots of fun. Go to the park, meet each other. People do favors for one another. I've seen all sorts of people picking up stuff for people, and sometimes something is released on a Tuesday and you can't make it till Thursday, and it won't be there anymore by the time Thursday rolls around, and one of the members you watch, one of them will pop up and say, "Look, I'll pick it up for you." And that's pretty nice, considering these things are not cheap, most of them. I mean, Donna Jean bought a purse that is really cool. And it was a very limited edition. And I'm going to say how much it cost. I don't know what she paid for it, but I know they're selling for a significant amount of money. It's like those Michael Kors purses. My daughter won Christmas when she was quite a bit younger than she is now. Oh, she's not old, but she was younger than she is. And she said she wanted a Michael Kors purse. Well, being a man, I had no idea what a Michael Kors purse. So I knew my daughter liked purple. So I went to Nordstrom's, which somebody said that's where they sold them, or one of the places they sold them at. So I saw they had a clearance on Michael Kors purses. So I said, "Oh, well, great." So I picked up one that was her favorite color. It was purple. And I said, "Oh, well, great." So I looked at the price, and it was $3,000. And I said, "Well, what's the sale price?" He says, "No, that is the sale price." I said, $3,000? It wasn't even leather. I mean, it was like vinyl. Needless to say, she did not get that for Christmas. I'm sorry. I've bought my daughter many expensive things, but they've got to be something that makes sense to Dad. So she didn't get her Michael Kors purse for Christmas. I'm sorry. I don't know how limited the edition on these. Sometimes limited edition doesn't really cause an increase in price. For instance, at D23, which I was talking about, they had a lot of very limited editions of pins. Those are something that really, if you invested a lot of money in pens, you lost a lot of money, because those things have not gone up in value. I bought this Donald Duck pen, and it had a limited edition of 150. That's nothing. And I looked it up, and it's not worth what I paid for it. So it just goes to show you, it's not necessarily based on rarity. There's got to be a desire to own it. rarity is not the thing. Now, most of you out here probably don't have any idea, but I used to run a business. I bought and sold antique toys. And I have a website. It's called Toys Etc. TOYZETC at earthlink.net is my email address also. But toysetc.com. I got mixed up, started telling you my email address. But anyway, I used to buy and sell stuff there, and that was the same thing. Some of the stuff that's rare isn't really worth that much because for some reason not a lot of people want it. But like some of the action figures, Star Trek action figures they put out back when Next Generation was running, they put a limited edition of 1,701 because of the number of the Enterprise, and that's a pretty good amount of action figures, 1,701, and those things were going for $800-900 at the time. Now they're still worth a little bit, but not what they were worth. There's a lot of rare stuff, that's not that valuable. That's just the way it is, and with Disney stuff. I'm sure those purses will probably be popular because a lot of women love those collector purses. Hey, I shouldn't say just women because I have a man purse. It's a shoulder bag. But the doctor a long time ago told me that I should not have a wallet in my back pocket because it causes you to sit odd and it messes up your back. And I have some problems with my back, which is the main reason I'm in that scooter all the time at the park. I can walk, I just can't walk long distances. I've done the park on my feet, but I have to stop and sit, every 100 yards or so I have to stop and sit. So it makes it less pleasant. Doing it on the scooter is great. Then I can carry all my junk in the back, and if somebody says, "Oh, I'm over here," I can get over there lickety split instead of, "Okay, I'm coming." I apologize for the glare from these ears. Notice it keeps shining in my light. I have a light next to my webcam. It lights my face so that my entire face is lit the same amount, so you don't see a big shadow on my face. It makes me look a little younger too, which is always good. I'm going to get rid of my hat. I'm getting hot. Whether you know this or not, most of the heat you lose from your body is lost on the top of your head. So if you're cold, put on a hat. Put on any kind of hat. That'll keep you warm. And taking off your hat will cool you off. Like, I'm already much cooler than I was. I have a fan sitting next to me, but there's a problem with the fan. Hear the problem? That's why it's not running. It's got some bearings going out on it or something. I need to buy a new one so I can run it during the podcast because that one makes too much racket. So, I'm going to post the names of all the people I mentioned on the podcast. So hope you could come and see your picture on the podcast. Not that that's necessarily a big whoopee deal, but it might be fun for you to see that. And like I said, anybody who has taken a picture with me, please send it to me. I will post it on the next podcast, which will be next Sunday. I'm hoping Melody is feeling up to doing the podcast with me. It is a lot more fun for me because I get to chat with my sister. And it's easier if you're bantering back and forth with somebody. It's easier to do an hour, which is what I like to do. I like to do an hour podcast. But it's really hard to do an hour by myself, because this is not scripted. I mean, I'm sure you can tell it's not scripted. I just wing it. I turn on the camera and start talking. So I get the pictures together, so I have a general idea that I'm at least going to talk about that during the podcast, and then whatever comes to my mind, I go crazy and talk about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Give me ideas. Believe me, I can use ideas for what to talk about on the podcast. If you want me to go investigate something, or check out a ride, or ask a question of the plaids, I go up there and harass the plaids all the time. I'm always after them about the one-ply toilet paper, which you guys all know about my problem with the one-ply toilet paper. I don't like it. I bring my own toilet paper, which is sad that you have to do that at an amusement park that costs you $1,700 to get into, that you have to bring your own toilet paper. I'm sorry, Disney, but that is pretty sad. You need to change that. You absolutely need to change that. So, I'm going to bail. As I said, I hope everybody enjoyed the show. And I hope you'll come back next Sunday, when I'm hoping my dear sister Melody, who is a sweet thing and has been having a terrible time with all of this. And it just wouldn't, I couldn't, she offered to do the podcast, but I knew she was not feeling well. I knew she would have been very grumpy. So we don't need another grumpy. So you guys all take care, and look me up when you get a chance when I'm at Disneyland Tuesday and Saturday this week. So if you're going those days, put a post on the group or DM me and let me know, and we'll get together. Take care and see you next week.